Yes, sir. We're officially back at it. Boog Nice coming at you with the Medicom Mafex Batman Hush series Superman figure review. Let's do it.
This ain't for no scalper. You a scalper? Then fuck out shit. This one's for them real collectors. That's army building and posing figures. Marvel Legends, imports, mini matey, I'm fucking with them. Hype beast, we know about you. Stay buying figs, don't know about you.
And a quick look at the artwork on the left side of the box. And a quick look at the artwork on the right. You can see a full picture of the figure. It says Superman Batman Hush version down at the bottom. This is Mafex number 117. Alright, let's bust this bad boy open, see what's what. Here we go. Clark Kent, aka Superman, as seen in the iconic Hush storyline, where Jim Lee was definitely on his top tier. Mafex's first comic-based Superman here, and I think they did a good job of representing Jim Lee's pencils. However, by no means is this figure perfect. Far from it. Definitely better than Batman, but we'll get into the little intricacies of what I think is wrong with this figure. Nonetheless, it is a good figure. It's a solid offering. It's probably one of our best 6-inch scale Supermans we've ever received. This is right before the release of the Mezco Christopher Reeve Superman.
Here comes a new challenger!
I've seen some pretty mixed feelings as far as that goes. So I just want to take a real quick casual look at Superman here. Here he is next to Snuggy Batman. I do think the cape on Superman came out better. It's a much thinner material, easier to work with. Obviously, the cape for Batman was one of my biggest gripes with this figure. Looking at them side by side, you can see that Superman has like a pea head though. His head is very small. Pause. While I do think it is a very good head sculpt, I do think it should have been a little larger. So as you can see, there's a pretty significant difference in size and skin tone here. Superman's head should definitely be a little larger considering how yoked he is, you know, considering the body. Taking a close look at the S on his chest, I have seen some versions where the paintwork here is real shoddy. Mine is okay. It's not too bad. I do see a little like stress mark or paint imperfection there right here where the butterfly joint is. I'm not sure how well that's showing up. It came like that out of the package though. That's disappointing. You can see like a little stress mark right there. I can also tell that the chest, like this entire chest portion, is just another overlay over what probably is just the Batman upper torso, I assume. And I don't really like the way that looks. The chest looks a little awkward in certain poses and positions. I don't know. I'm not 100% a fan of this sculpt. It's okay, but I think they could have did a little bit better and did something a bit more unique for Superman here. The S on the back of his cape looks okay, but something seems off here. I don't know. It just doesn't look as good as I think they could have made it. Again, I'm happy with the actual cape, but something seems off to me about the S logo here on the back. While I think the chest may serve a problem in the future, it looks like it could crack on the sides, on the seams. Again, he still does look good in certain poses. The pinhead is not too noticeable, nor is the wonkiness of the chest. It should be noted that the pelvis piece, that entire part, is like a softer, pliable, sort of like rubbery plastic, so you are able to work with some A.C.B.A flight stands, some different things, and shove them up in that area. I do feel like my lower abdomen area on mine is a little offset though. I think I might have to pop them out and realign things. Is it just me, or is there a stress mark down in there on that peg? But out of the package, he comes with 2 fists attached. He's got 2 open hands with the fingers close together for some slapping action. If it's somebody that could really slap the shit out of you, it is Superman. And obviously the flat palms could work for him holding things over his head as well, showcasing fantastic feats of strength. He's got a set of hands that are open and the fingers are slightly spread. The hands are cupped. These can be utilized to hold certain items. You can see him holding this little dog here, so when he saves dogs from trees. What's that, Sparky? Bruce is caught in a well. He's got a set of open hands with the fingers spread a bit more than a previous set. These can also be utilized to hold items or to simulate him pushing people or smashing Batman's head or whatever you want here. And then speaking of going after Batman, quite a few things going on here in terms of accessories. So I swapped out his hands for his final set of fists. These fists actually have a small little hole in the center where I guess you could strike string a rope or something through there, some wire, not a rope, but you know, some wire or something like that, maybe the line to Batman's grappling hook. I also swapped on these poison ivy parts on both of his forearms and around his neck. These are all sort of soft pliable plastic, but you should slip off the hands and then slide the two on his forearms on, and then the one around his neck is not a complete circle, so you can just fit that around the back of his neck. And then I also swapped on his final head sculpt, which I'll give you a closer look at. But at some point in the Hush storyline, Superman was being controlled by Poison Ivy and went after Batman, and then that brings us to our final accessory here, which is something packed in with Superman that is actually for Batman. Here's a look at that. You can see that the eyes are glowing red just a bit, but this head sculpt looks really cool. I like this a lot. A lot of people complaining that we didn't get a smiling head sculpt, which is unfortunate, but you know how MAFEX does. They may pack a smiling head in for Superman and some other figure from the Hush series. I would assume at some point we're going to get Poison Ivy, so we'll see what happens there. And like I said, his final accessory is one for Batman. So this fist with what looks like a kryptonite ring. I think that was the plot point in the story. There is like an iconic picture of Batman punching out Superman, so that's what you have here. I've seen that recreated a couple times on the boards already. Oh, this cape on Batman is garbage. And for the record, I don't really have too many Superman figures. I do have the old MAFEX BVS Henry Cavill Superman, so that's what this head is here. Skin tones obviously don't match up. I guess if you were to pop out the entire head and neck and try that, it will work. But really, I just wanted to put this on to show how undersized the Superman head is here. This looks more proportionate to the body than the actual stock head that we got, unfortunately. All right, one quick size comparison, and I'm gonna get up out of here. Actually, maybe I'll set something up here at the end, but all people who could beat Superman. We got the Figma Bruce Lee, we have the SHF Goku, and we have the SHF MCU Hulk, and I got a size order here going. But yeah, Superman is pretty solid. I guess I'll talk about my afterthoughts, my overall thoughts in the last segment here. But you can see how all of these stack up. You saw how he stood next to Batman. So a pretty solid offering here from Medicom Mafex. I didn't quite go over the articulation, but you saw me posing them throughout. Head and neck are separate. I wish he could look up just a tad bit more. Great range of motion in the shoulders. You know, you got that butterfly joint, as well as rotation at the upper shoulder, rotation at the bicep, double jointed elbow, swivel and a hinge on the wrist. I had no problem swapping out the hands. Upper torso articulation, as well as lower abdomen articulation. You can turn them left to right at the waist. There is a barbell joint in the crotch pelvis area. There's a drop down method at the upper thighs where you can rotate the upper thigh there as well. Double jointed knee. No rotation at the upper boot. You have a hinge, a pivot, and a swivel on the foot, as well as a toe joint. Aside from the undersized head and the semi-awkwardness of the chest, overall it is a good sculpt here. He looks very good. He poses very good. It's a fun figure to mess around with, no doubt about that. I think I did put a little annotation that those fists with the small hole through the middle should be utilized to hold his cape, similar to the same type of sculpt that we received with Batman. This is definitely our new Hush Jim Lee style Superman, our best new Superman. I think before this there was an old DC Direct figure that didn't pose too much, but it was a really good sculpt. I'm looking forward to more from Mafex in terms of DC comic style figures. Hopefully we'll get that smiling head sculpt for Superman. I can actually look past the little divots and nicks and things that were wrong with my particular figure out of the package, and this is one that I might actually want to get a second version of. But overall, this is one that I would recommend. It is a good figure here from Mafex. So thanks for hanging out. As always, rate, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell down there, and until next time, peace.
When I release, you lose teeth like little seeds. Player please, blood flood your dungarees. And that's just the half of my war path. Laugh now, cry later. I rhyme greater than the average player hater.